It is the evening of November 13th, 2020. The clock ticks down for what was one of YouTube's biggest experiments in entertainment. With a concurrent viewer count of over 1.6 million during the final minutes, viewers from around the world watch as a YouTube channel with over 4.5 million subscribers and nearly 870 million lifetime views is deleted live during the channel's final live stream. As the screen goes black, social media blows up with their goodbyes, trending hashtags, and millions of fans around the world celebrating what was once Unus Annus. Now both a fever dream and a nostalgic memory back in the minds of millions, a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and in some ways, a social experiment only a few of us got to experience, Unus Annus was a project intended to rock the internet. Nowadays, if people want to go back to what Unus Annus once was, they only really have the words of some limited edition merchandise that is no longer sold, the hundreds of clips and memes left over from the viral videos, and for those who hold no guilty conscience, the unauthorized re-upload of every single video from this massive YouTube channel. Don't do that. This was the legacy a YouTube channel created by two of the biggest creators on the platform left behind in fall of 2020. But first, a little background for those who are unfamiliar. Unus Annus was a YouTube channel created by YouTubers Markiplier and Crankgameplays, also known as Mark Fishbach and Ethan Nestor. Both creators are massively successful on their own, with Mark blowing past 30 million subscribers and Ethan nearing 2.5 million. Combined, excluding the Unus Annus channel itself, they've amassed over 20 billion lifetime views on both of their channels. Mark's girlfriend Amy Nelson also worked alongside them behind the scenes, usually handling the camera and occasionally appearing in videos herself. She is often regarded as Unus Annus's third member and the brains of the operation.
Amy, I love you.
Wait, no, I'm trying to wave. That wasn't enough.
Markiplier is easily one of the most recognizable faces on the YouTube platform. Beginning his YouTube career in 2012 in his hometown of Cincinnati, he quickly rose to fame with the virality of reaction compilation and other horror game videos, the most famous arguably being Five Nights at Freddy's.
Was that the bite of 87?
Being in dozens of other massive collaborations organized by YouTube and creators alike. He's been everywhere on the platform with appearances and nominations in streaming and gaming awards, the infamous YouTube Rewinds, as well as his now Emmy-nominated series In Space with Markiplier, as well as its predecessor, A Heist with Markiplier. While holding a smaller audience but having just as much passion as the former, Ethan is a YouTuber and a streamer who's been steadily growing his YouTube presence over the past decade, recently celebrating his 10-year anniversary of his YouTube career. Creating his original YouTube channel back in August of 2012, his current one is dated for December 2015. Ethan can also be seen in multiple projects around the platform, including, once again, YouTube Rewinds, and panel appearances at events such as VidCon or PAX. Both creators have a history of working together that traces back to 2016 and an even longer personal history that traces back to 2014. Mark and Ethan first met each other at one of Mark's fan events at PAX East 2014, where Ethan would perform a backflip for Mark.
Do not kill yourself. Please, please don't kill yourself.
And then again in 2015, giving him the nickname of Backflip Boy. Though behind the scenes, Ethan was steadily working on his YouTube growth and working his way up the YouTube ranks. In 2016, a then 20-year-old Ethan found himself hired by Mark to work as an editor and moving all the way out to Los Angeles.
I am moving to LA because at the beginning of October, I got a call from my friend Markiplier. And he asked me if I wanted to move out to LA to help him make videos.
As the years went by, we began to see them interact more on camera and behind the scenes. Ethan starred alongside Mark in videos such as his Markiplier Makes series. Ethan was also one of the featured performers in Markiplier's You're Welcome tour back in 2017. Ethan left Mark's editing team in March of 2018, but that didn't stop them from collaborating or working on projects together, eventually leading up to the inception of the topic of today's video. Latin for 1 year, Unus Annus is exactly what it sounds like at first glance. A YouTube channel with a lifespan of 1 year. No more, no less. Death is a part of life. Inevitable, unavoidable, and something each one of us has or will have to deal with sometime in our lives. Creating a YouTube channel around this concept is nothing new, but the execution was what was surprising, especially from two creators known for their silly let's plays and sketch comedy. When someone builds a YouTube, there is an immense of work that goes on behind the scenes, from the SEO, the algorithm, the title, the thumbnails, the editing, the pre and post production. Putting together the entire video takes time. It's a lot of work to get your name out there. And with the hours involved, the last thing we'd expect from a YouTube channel that gained over 1 million subscribers in only 4 days was for them to delete all of it. The channel's iconic tagline, Memento Mori, meaning remember death or remember you will die, also derives from Latin. It was a steady reminder of this idea, not to be heard as a threat, but as a promise. Mark and Ethan were eager to create a channel around this concept, where they had no limits, no fear of demonetization or age restrictions, and for a channel with finite time, who's to stop them, other than YouTube's greater terms of service? Then, at the end of the project, no matter how big the channel was or how much pushback there was from the audience, the channel was to be deleted 1 year from its creation. This sentiment was shown at the beginning and end of every single video uploaded to this channel, with white text on a black background, steadily counting down to the channel's inevitable departure. Unus Annus came together rather quickly, as mentioned throughout videos on the now deleted channel. The pair came up with the name at a Buffalo Wild Wings, of all places, sharing the short pre-Unus Annus moment with fans during the channel's live finale.
Okay.
Okay, you can show this now.
All right, we're ready.
Okay, Ethan. All right, you gotta tell me what's the Latin name?
Can you come up on my face?
1 year. Unus Annus. Oh my God.
Some other names that they'd come up with for the channel was This Many Days Left, 365, Unus Singulos, which was an option Mark mentioned almost going with.
Or it's Anus Singular. I'm sure it's pronounced Anus.
The two finally landed on Unus Annus because it rolled off the tongue, and it's kind of funny.
Okay. Unus Annus.
Perfect for a project run by two historically goofy guys. Also mentioned was Mark and Ethan's plan to hold what would eventually become the finale, culminating in the final livestream that would inevitably fall on Friday the 13th. Looking at the dates 1 year ahead of where they were at the time, it meant that they had to start this project quickly if they wanted it to land perfectly as planned, as well as to not encroach on plans that they had at the end of 2020 and later. There was also this feeling of not wanting to wait until the new year to get this project started, because just like the channel, you don't know you have something until it's gone. Mark and Ethan wanted to see what would happen if they just took this idea and threw it out there to see how people would react. With not much time left to pull out the now infamous introduction, they set out to upload their first video on November 14th, 2019, starting the timer at 365 days, 24 hours, and 60 minutes, as well as sister videos that were uploaded on their respective channels to entice viewers to check out the newly made account. These videos, too, were also deleted when Unus Annus inevitably went dark. These videos feature the men in their infamous suits, Ethan in black and Mark in white, respectively. With a black and white spiral twisting in the background, the two men slowly sunk towards the center every other minute before reappearing moments later. Throughout this video, they would explain Unus Annus, the project, the meaning, and lastly, the end, and the plan to delete the channel and everything with it.
And you'll never be able to see them again.
Because much like death, you can't take it with you.
And all we'll have is the memories that we make along the way.
And of course, fans began to speculate. What was this project? Was it an ARG? Was it some sort of social experiment? The introductions were cryptic and left the viewers with many questions. This video would set a mood for the content that fans expected to come out of the channel. So imagine their thoughts that when 12 hours later, on the dot, when the first official video was uploaded to the Unus Annus channel, and any theories or speculations fans had was twisted on its head. For a channel that presented itself so seriously and so stoically to rely on the inevitability of death, the last thing people expected were Mark and Ethan's usual shenanigans, armed with several adult toys that they had purchased earlier in the video. Mark and Ethan set out to make themselves a nutritious breakfast using only the tools they had on hand.
Ow! Does that hurt? But you can't take it, right?
No!
Oh, okay.
The first video, Cooking with Sex Toys, immediately shifted what the tone of this channel was going to be. Without fear of demonetization or age restrictions, the pair were not afraid to try some wacky shit and impractical projects, which, good for them, because that video immediately got age restricted.
But we unanimously decided it needed to be the first video that people saw. It set the tone for the channel, right? You know, because when the first video came out, people didn't know what the hell it was going to be. They thought it was going to be like this big ARG, as if we actually thought it through.
Yeah.
But no, then we hit them with sex toys, and they didn't know what to feel, and they were railing ever since, and they can't keep up.
Yeah, and it was age restricted instantly.
Immediately.
First video,
yeah,
age restricted.
nice.
Yeah.
We saw this kind of move just carry on throughout the beginning of this channel. You have videos of them creating sensory deprivation tanks at home, playing two truths, one lie while waxing each other, and preserving themselves in paraffin wax. December of this year would also be the first time you would see them drink their own piss through a life straw and a Brita filter, might I add.
Worse, so much worse.
But this would go on to inspire other videos on the channel, and it's still things echoed in Mark and Ethan's recent projects.
You should drink more water.
I've been drinking so much water. I drink a lot of water. I don't know what's happening.
We would also see the two men gift their 1 million subscriber plaque to one of their fans, hand delivering it to her and featuring her in the video. We would see this year end just as energized as it started, with them doing the presidential fitness test, and on January 1st by taking a polar plunge in Mark's backyard pool. The two of them would continue to make videos from all sorts of avenues as they run in the new year, bringing in fellow content creators to join them, hiring professionals to teach them skills such as fire eating, acrobatics, and fighting choreo, or heading to special locations to film other activities such as completing an escape room, getting pepper sprayed, or making their way to a casket store where they would design and purchase a custom black and white split casket that wouldn't be seen again until the final live stream. By this point, these two men were on a roll. Nothing could stop them. With hundreds of ideas planned and still nearly a full year left to execute them, Mark and Ethan had all of YouTube in the palm of their hands. But then something happened. Something big. Something global.
Now to growing concerns about the deadly coronavirus.
The World Health Organization declares COVID-19 a pandemic.
We have never had as many people infected or infectious.
Tonight, with the U.S. now leading the world in the highest number of people testing positive for coronavirus.
This comes as COVID-19 is surging across the nation, including in California.
2020 was a rough year for everyone, for obvious reasons. And as of March 2020, the majority of the world fell to a standstill as the coronavirus disease of 2019, commonly just referred to as COVID-19, spread across the world. Now, the timeline for California, more specifically LA and the surrounding areas where Mark and Ethan work and live, was no different. Most public places saw their doors closing in the face of the pandemic around the 16th of March, and more continuing to close the following days after. If people didn't realize how quickly this global pandemic was spreading before, it was pretty damn obvious now, with the state of California going under a state disaster declaration the following week on March 22nd. The content of the channel very quickly took a turn to accommodate the restrictions in their county as well as for their own personal safety. Mark and Ethan would find themselves again at their computer desks, filming from home, communicating with each other online over the phone while continuing to complete challenges or discuss inane topics. The first video on what the channel called Quarantanus was a silly video called Desperately Trying Not to Touch Our Faces, posted on March 24th. If my memory serves me right, Ethan lost, but they used this opportunity to raise money for COVID relief, adding to the tally every time they would touch their faces.
Why are you restrained?
I owe so much money, not only to charity, but to the government too. Tax season is coming up.
Hey, don't worry, taxes were pushed back. You're good.
For the next several months, the content the duo was making took a massive pivot as they isolated themselves in their homes, but the show had to go on, and with another 8 months left to go of the channel, they couldn't stop now. The pandemic hitting at the time that it did is a little ironic. Think about it, for a channel that so heavily referenced mortality and the daily death toll from COVID on the rise, it almost seemed Unus Annus couldn't have been planned for a better moment in history, even if the historical moments weren't exactly planned to begin with. Listen, I'm not trying to say Mark and Ethan caused COVID. Not only that, but as people found themselves moving their lives online, that's where they were going to search for their entertainment too. With Forbes stating that internet use surged upwards of 70% in the weeks following lockdown. With limited options, Mark and Ethan had to find new ways to make content for their channel, leading to other outside of the box and unique quarantine content for their channel. We would finally see them regroup again in June of 2020, after clarifying that everyone was COVID negative and that they were taking the precautions to ensure the safety of everyone on the team. Some of the videos that we would see on the channel during this era included attempting to make homemade wine, competing in common computer games such as a Wikipedia race, looking for creepy stories or videos across the web, and even interacting with viewers' content. Once we saw them together again, we would get the infamous peace on a video that fans had been requesting since very early on in the channel.
What about pee? Could you do like a peace on it, or would that not work?
You could. God damn it, I've been wanting to say that. No!
Prior things you guys have done, I just wasn't sure if that would be in the repertoire.
Why did you say that?
Arguably, the piss-related videos were probably the most popular on the channel. Take that as you will.
I have a Brita filter.
We have a Brita filter. Do not pee in our Brita filter, Mark.
We'll just replace the filter.
We wouldn't see another individual be featured in person who wasn't part of the Unus Annus team until 7 months later on October 4th, when Mark and Ethan would attempt aerial hoops with returning instructor and burlesque performer Vixen DeVille, who we previously saw pre-pandemic teaching the boys how to eat fire and lay on broken glass. Even the videos where we'd see the boys leaving their houses for extended periods of time, such as the Camp Unus Annus arc from August 22nd to August 30th, the most that was featured was voiceover by voice talent David Petit and phone calls with Mark's mom. During the Camp Unus Annus videos, they were also fairly isolated, quite literally filming in the middle of nowhere. As the summer came to an end, we would be able to look back on videos such as putting the fish in fish block, teaching themselves how to escape a hostage situation, transforming Mark into the 8th wonder of the world by painting him gold, and Mark teaching Ethan how to play the trumpet, while Ethan just stands with the most curved back you've ever seen on a man. What is he doing?
You can put your legs back a bunch.
You're seeing what I'm seeing, right? You're seeing? Okay, cool.
Leading into the final months of this project, the existentialism started to weave itself further into the videos, occasionally taking over the plot itself. Videos like The Beginning of the End and the Camp Unus Annus series started questioning the life of the project and the life of the creators themselves. The Camp Unus Annus videos in particular, we saw multiple scenes where Ethan and Mark, or more specifically their counterparts, Unus and Annus respectively, would die, only to be back and seemingly fine 24 hours later when the next episode would air. This was also the topic of MatPat's game theory episode about hidden codes were hitting around the videos during this era.
During the Camp Unus Annus series of videos, we start to see Unus and Annus dying multiple times. Someone or something is trying to stop the clock. In the video, our fans try to scare us with their homemade creepypasta. There's a very, very brief flash of the following hidden in some static. What will happen if the clock stops? Could I find a way to keep it going?
Oh yeah, even game theory was talking about Unus Annus. This project had reach. These boys had reach. We would also begin to see multiple phone calls between Mark and his lawyer Ryan talking about life insurance fraud, claiming that he knew when he was going to die, among other things.
As you know, we are leaving this realm of existence soon.
and therefore laws don't apply.
No.
We also began to see these alter egos more often as the clock ticked down, outside of their usual spiral abyss, and participating more in the actual content of the channel. The appearances of these two started to ramp up in the last 2 weeks or so, of Unus Annus being featured in videos such as the Unus Annus Last Supper and Who's Cutting Onions in Here. We also began to see more retrospectives about the channel in this time, with Ethan and Mark, or rather Unus and Annus, dressed in their iconic black and white suits, speaking about what could have been in videos such of other video ideas that never happened, or revisiting the channel history through recreating every single Unus Annus video and saying goodbye to our guests.
Hey Siri, call us daddy.
I don't see a father in your contacts. What's your father's first and last name?
Well, about that.
The last official video that was uploaded to the channel was just a simple sleepover at Mark's place, ending with them discussing that tomorrow was the big day.
Tomorrow is a big day. The end of an era.
I think we should just name it goodbye.
Yeah.
I think just goodbye is good.
And as the lights fade and the countdown appears on screen one last time, there is only one place left to go.
The rest of the 1.6 million people, it was 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, darkness.
The final moments of Unus Annus consisted of a 12-hour live stream featuring many guests that were featured throughout the content, with the help of real good touring. Set up in a private studio, Mark and Ethan, donning their custom-made black and white suits for the last time, sat in front of the camera, facing the audience, with an ominous countdown in an old CRT TV, and the now fully completed dual-tone coffin between them. As mentioned at the beginning of this video, this live stream was scheduled to start on Friday the 13th, November 13th to be specific, at 12 p.m., finishing on November 14th at the stroke of midnight. And as the final 12 hours counted down in front of the audience, we got to relive fan favorite moments and speak more about the behind the scenes that viewers may not have known about. This is also where we would get dedicated segments to the editors of the channel, such as Vincent aka Dice Roll, Rachel aka Rad R, and Marcus aka Nerd Fiction. Other dedicated segments from Mark's editor Lixian were featured, who had also given a hand to work on Unus Annus videos, as well as previous guest and Mark's now personal trainer Alex Tima, sending in his own video as gratitude. Over on sites like Twitter and Tumblr, Unus Annus had been trending for at least 24 hours prior. It was quite obvious that many people were patiently waiting and keeping their eyes open for any last-minute surprises from the channel. Several hashtags were also started, such as the Unus Annus is over party hashtag and the We Were Here hashtag. The Unus Annus is over party hashtag, while quite literal, is also just kind of a play on Twitter's hashtag blank is over party hashtag trend that comes up when someone's inevitably getting cancelled on Twitter. The boys joked about this concept on the live stream and just encouraged fans to keep going on with it. The We Were Here hashtag started more towards the end of the live stream. Also encouraged by Mark and Ethan, it's kind of just like a little speck in history from all the people who were watching the channel live at the time. Today, if you check the hashtag, it is full of people from all corners of the internet, but for that brief moment in history, it was solely dedicated to the channel that was soon to be deleted. Now, a third hashtag, Tatus Annus, started when they revealed another one of their silly little antics. Ethan was getting a tattoo live on the stream. He had gotten in contact with an LA tattoo artist and was getting the Unus Annus countdown tattooed on his arm. This, as well as the following conversation, inspired fans to share their body art or plans with the rest of viewers, to which Mark and Ethan began to also show those during fan segments. A little note from after the final live stream, turns out that technically Ethan got it tattooed upside down. The colons between the numbers were ever so slightly shifted towards the bottom, and because of that it appears upside down when it's facing Ethan. Well, we all make mistakes, right? No regrets. Much like many others getting tattoos of their own either during or after Unus Annus, the previously mentioned We Were Here hashtag ended up joining the list of things that people were getting inked to celebrate the end. To get a bigger picture of how big this fan base was, especially in the last few hours, we can look over at the merchandise that was sold throughout the project's lifetime, and especially the pieces that were being sold during the final live stream. Days before the final live stream, fans started to speculate on a resurrection sale, and resurrection sale there was. Over the year, there were many pieces of merchandise that had come and gone, seemingly dying like the channel it was created for. Even without being advertised, fans realized there was a countdown on the merch site, which ended up leading up to the resurrection sale, offering all the merch that had been lost to time to go back up for sale for the last few days. Now, the reason I bring this specific sale up is because the site immediately crashed. Like I mentioned, this was not advertised beforehand. This is just fan speculation. Just people going to the site when this countdown was supposed to end to find, hey, there's merch on, including myself. Not only did it crash the Unus Annus website, but Second City Prints, the company that was making the merchandise for Unus Annus, they also crashed. All of their servers. They make merchandise for people that weren't Unus Annus. Everything. Their entire system was down. From my personal experience, I was on the site the moment the sale dropped, and I got everything that I wanted into my cart within 15 minutes. I was then held in a checkout queue for 3 hours, and due to the servers being so heavily overloaded from the traffic and the demand, some people got double charged, or in my case, triple charged. I could not imagine what happened to the people who went into the negative because of this, because oof, banks are ruthless when you spend too much money, even by accident. Not only that, but here's a clip of Mark talking about the merchandise on Impulsive with Logan Paul.
There was a time during the live stream where it ended where we had bought, our merch company had bought every single black hoodie in America. Every single one at that time. It took 5 months to fulfill every order from that live stream.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
With the last minute sale and the speculation from fans, a conversation around trying to stop the clock arose. And it wasn't just the fans. Editor Vincent, also known as Dice Roll, had written a song by the same name, and the previously mentioned Hidden Coves that was referenced in that game theory video also talked about the alters escaping death or escaping the simulation. There's irony in that though, isn't there? For a whole year we were told what was going to happen, how it was going to happen, and when it was going to happen. For the channel's whole message to be about living in the moment, remembering that you're going to die, and to not take any second for granted, it would defeat the purpose of throwing all that meaning out of the window. Nothing lasts forever. Not you, not me, not even the universe. And at the end of the day, all of this effort that was put in to try to preserve this channel was for naught. With over 1.6 million concurrent viewers, over 4.5 million subscribers, and nearly 870 million channel views, Mark and Ethan sat side by side with their computer sitting on the casket. Between them, Amy had her hand on the mouse, and when the clock struck midnight, the screen went black.
And you will have bragging rights for the rest of your life.
See you on the other side.
Yesterday was the death of one of the biggest YouTube art projects.
Yesterday, YouTube lost one of its most interesting channels.
Say congratulations to Markiplier and Ethan, aka Crankgameplays,
with the promise that they would create a piece of daily content.
So they finished this whole thing with a live stream over the weekend.
For 365 days, and then after that year is over, delete the channel.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you didn't know, Unus Annus officially died last night.
Get into Unus Annus.
Unus Annus.
Unus Annus.
Unus Annus? Did I pronounce that correctly?
No.
How is it pronounced?
Unus Annus.
Annus.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Annus. Yeah, it's Latin.
That's how the Greeks pronounced it.
So congratulations to them, but also too for sticking with what they said they were going to do and not watering down the message, because they could have made more money by continuing to post.
For many, the silence was deafening. Those 1.6 million viewers were simultaneously met with a black screen. Moments and a quick refresh later, the live stream was no longer available. Going to the channel within moments of the deletion didn't immediately lead you to a dead end. Instead, you were met with the Unus Annus channel with a completely clean slate. No videos, no comments, but the name and profile picture still stood. Waiting any longer and refreshing the page once more, you would be met with what viewers expected all along. A red banner ran across the channel, now without a name, simply reading, "This channel does not exist."
But in the best way, I'm not okay right now.
Days after, a new video appeared on Mark and Ethan's personal channels. These videos were simple, just them and their viewers talking one-on-one about the crazy year they had just experienced.
You know, someone asked me a year ago why I was doing this, why we were making a channel and putting so much effort into it just to delete it. Why would someone put all that effort into something they were just going to get rid of, they were just going to throw away? And I said, it'll make sense when it ends.
Mark and Ethan both took their own directions on their post-mortem. With Mark taking a moment to reminisce on the meaning behind the channel, he spoke about the grieving that people were going through and the emotions that came with it.
Grieving was the point. The loss was the point. The emotions of that was the point of it.
Ethan expressed feeling like he could comfortably accept the praise that was coming his way for all of his amazing work.
Unus Annus was something that was really, really special. And I truly think that it was something that will go down in YouTube history. Even if somebody else tried to recreate Unus Annus, they couldn't do it. And that is something that I am so extremely proud of.
Ethan also went further into detail about the work that took place during this project, because Unus Annus was unique. It's not something that can be replicated, at least not to the same scale that Mark and Ethan did it themselves. Even in a way, 2020, as terrible of a year as it was surprisingly the perfect year to host this project, and Ethan acknowledged that.
I think that 2020 was the perfect year for Unus Annus. Despite what 2020 was, we rolled with it, because you have to.
At this time, the conversation was still full force on social media. The channel continued to trend on Twitter for the following days. Media outlets and other YouTubers alike were all talking about Unus Annus and its final days. Many of them praising the work that Ethan and Mark had put in, but also some speaking on the fact that they were sad that they missed the opportunity to see it for themselves.
I think I never watched really anything of it. Maybe I watched one video, but I wasn't really aware that this channel had a death date attached to it. Otherwise, I probably would have paid more attention to it.
Unus Annus, and I was like, what is happening here? And I watched a few of the videos and I didn't really understand. And then it ended, and then I appreciated it for what it was. Wow. And I'm talking about it now. Like I got caught in exactly what they're trying to prove.
The conversation post-mortem expanded into FOMO, or the fear of missing out, because feasibly in the last couple weeks of the channel, there wasn't a chance for new viewers to catch up. Assuming the average length of a video is about 20 minutes, give or take, it would take you at least 5 days with no sleep, no rest to get through every single video on the channel. For some people, that is just unavoidable and unattainable. Though now the newly found fans had another problem if they wanted to try to seek out re-uploads elsewhere on the internet. One of Unus Annus's main requests throughout the entirety of the channel was simple, just no re-uploading. As the series went on, they became a little more lax, revealing that at the end they were okay if there were short clips and the like still floating around on the internet, which is why I'm able to feature some of them in this video. But the mention of full episode re-uploads was strictly prohibited. If you were caught with a re-upload, you would be hit with a copyright strike, even going as far as having your entire channel deleted if you uploaded more.
I try to take down everything that I see, but the long story short is they will be taken down. We're not joking around when it comes to that sort of things. So if you're doing it, just be aware, when we submit the takedown request, it will likely delete your channel. And I am not apologizing for it at all.
Unfortunately, the threats didn't stop people. It's the internet, why would it? While researching for this project, I ran across entire re-uploads on YouTube channels and archive sites alike. While I personally stopped my urges from revisiting those videos, relying solely on like news articles, the wiki, and like my own memory to make this script, it still begs the question how much Mark and Ethan are still looking out for these re-uploads and striking them down when they see them. Arguably, years later, if people want to go back and relive Unus Annus, they can. There's really nothing stopping them. But what those people either fail to realize or are simply ignoring is that goes against the entire concept of the channel. It goes against the channel having a life and having only so much time to live. Once you miss out on something, you shouldn't be able to go back and re-experience it as if it was live once it's already dead, which on one hand sucks, but don't you think it kind of makes those memories just a little more special? Just the fact that people simply got to experience it, even if they didn't get to pour in as much time as others. For those people, they lived in the moment, just like the channel wanted us to do. At the end of the day, for those who joined in late and didn't want to go against Mark and Ethan's wishes, they were only left with the few memories they got to experience. As 2020 began to wind down, we started to see a bit of shift in the work that Mark and Ethan was doing on their own time. Now free from the daily grind that was Unus Annus, they're now free to expand and go on to bigger and better projects. Ethan finished off 2020 fairly slowly, taking time for himself and using the end of Unus Annus as an excuse to expand on the content he was creating of his own channel. Ethan was one of the many participators in that year's Thankmas fundraiser organized by fellow YouTuber Jacksepticeye, as the campaign moved online to accommodate quarantine restrictions. Originally setting his goal for $250,000, Ethan quickly met his target, and later ended up doubling the funds raised, bringing in over $500,000 in just over 12 hours.
What's happening?
Then at the end of January 2021, Ethan made a video announcing that he will be stepping away for a month, citing his mental health as a main factor, but also the fact that he hadn't taken a proper break in a while, and especially after Unus Annus.
You know, I think it's me overworking myself. I think it's me not taking a break after Unus Annus was finished. And I really just need to take some time for myself.
On March 1st of 2021, Ethan would once again greet his audience with a video on his return, emphasizing his previously spoken points about wanting to make sure that he doesn't continue to burn himself out.
Like, I want to make sure that going forward, I don't burn myself out again, and that I actually, you know, take time off like a normal person would. You know how people take breaks and vacations for normal jobs? That should probably be a thing that I do.
This didn't stop his passion though. Later in the video, Ethan announced that he was doing a one-off show in Chicago, aptly titled I Have to Do This Show. This show sold out very quickly, despite the still unknown circumstances with the pandemic still in effect. In the video Power Wash Pals uploaded by Mark in August of 2022, Ethan expressed that he started planning the show during the February break, referring to the show as his little baby, and Mark praising him on the fact that it was one of the best YouTuber live shows he's seen. Later that year, in September 2021, Ethan followed the announcement of the show with an update.
But I'm not doing a show anymore. I'm doing a whole fucking tour!
The live show had now been updated to include dozens of cities across North America, ending in my home turf of Vancouver, Canada. And as of recently recording this video, he's also announced that he is going on a UK leg of the tour. Okay, hold on here. Hi, Future Mocha here. This will be the first of a handful of other times you'll see me going towards the end of this video, as this video is already 2 months late and things have been updated, changed, other news has come out, so that's what we're here for. In the meantime, if you've made it this far, first of all, I appreciate you so much. Thank you for watching this video. If you want to go leave a like and a comment down below, maybe subscribe, because I have some big plans for this channel. It'd mean a lot. It'd mean a lot. So you could do that. It's your choice though. You can always unsubscribe later. That's what the big YouTubers say, right? Anyways, back to the video. 2 things about the UK tour. 1, it's not a UK tour, it's a European tour. I misspoke. My apologies. And 2, the show has been temporarily postponed. On December 16th, 2022, Ethan uploaded a video giving his audience the news, citing both personal and professional reasons, wanting to deliver the show as best as he can. He's hoping to have the show back up and running by May 2023. Over the last couple years, Ethan has continued to focus on his mental health, and did the following speaking about working to achieve a healthier work-life balance, treating YouTube more like the job that it is for him, and how hiring an assistant in 2021 had helped him work towards that.
I want to be people's favorite YouTuber again, because I feel like I've kind of dropped off a bit.
Shortly after, Ethan would upload his 10-year anniversary video on YouTube on August 29th, 2022, almost for it to immediately get age restricted. This prompted Ethan to upload a censored version in the days following. While this issue was eventually solved and the video is now back up on his channel for you to watch, no age restriction at all. It is one of the many pieces that falls into this recent story involving YouTube and age gating or the demonetization of videos, but that is a fraction of a story to tell at a completely different time. We would also see Ethan begin to participate more on the Twitch side of things after his departure from Unus Annus, participating in the wildly popular Minecraft Championships, one of which he had to step down from due to technical issues, the short-lived Epic SMP organized by Matt Watson of fellow creator group Super Mega, as well as starring in and working as an executive producer on the 3rd season of Kolok, a live-action tabletop role-playing game that would stream on the Fear HQ Twitch channel. Mark, on the other hand, is a never-ending machine. He nearly immediately hopped into his next project right after Unus Annus. While previously hinted at other videos, Mark announced on April 16th, 2021 that he was set to leave for Canada to begin filming the live-action version of the audio drama The Edge of Sleep.
I leave for Canada tomorrow. Yeah, I know. That was a surprise.
The podcast itself has been renewed for a 2nd season, while the television show is currently in post-production, with Mark reprising his role as Dave Torres in both productions. Nearly immediately after returning from filming The Edge of Sleep, Mark would then find himself stepping into the next production, which would be his 2nd YouTube original series, In Space with Markiplier, being announced on September 3rd, 2021. And filming beginning around mid-September of that same year.
Also, I've been very paranoid about not telling you about In Space with Markiplier for 2 damn years.
It is shortly after this that Mark would also celebrate hitting 30 million subscribers on September 19th. Mark's work from here has started to slow down, with a lot more of his focus being directed to his YouTube channel. Mark ended up picking up a job opportunity working with American production company Corridor Digital as an intern, and he took this opportunity not only to find himself working in like a new environment, but also to be able to experience and work on things that he hadn't previously been able to before. Once again, since the filming of this video, he has since departed from his internship. In May of 2021, we also began to see the rise of the Distractables podcast, hosted by Mark and his 2 close friends Wade and Bob, better known online as Lord Minion 777 and Moiskerm. In the following year of January 2022, we would also see the launch of Go, my favorite sports team, featuring Mark and his friend Tyler Sheed, also known as Apocalypto 12. Both of these podcasts are still running today. Finally, most recently, we were introduced to another documentary focusing on Mark's mother, their family, and their history from North Korea. This documentary, aptly titled Markiplier from North Korea, is scheduled to premiere on the same day as Unus Annus' 2-year death anniversary on November 13th, 2022. And of course, I can't mention the podcasts and the documentary without also mentioning that Mark's launching an OnlyFans.
All right, you impatient, thirsty gremlins.
In Mark's latest shenanigans, he bribed his viewers to put his podcast up to #1 and make sure they buy tickets for the documentary premiere.
You wouldn't disappoint my mom like that. Like how I'm disappointing my mom with this OnlyFans.
And they met his goal within 3 days. He wanted to beat out Joe Rogan, and he did so. So, as of November 2nd, Mark has confirmed that his OnlyFans is coming eventually once he's able to get his username off the person who is trying to impersonate him over there.
It's here. The OnlyFans is here.
Hi, me again. On December 8th, Mark uploaded a video dropping his OnlyFans link in the description, and unsurprisingly, with the reception that the first video got, OnlyFans crashed entirely. Just like with Second City Prince, when the resurrection sale and such was happening, the entire site went down when Mark posted his OnlyFans, so Take that as you will. All of the proceeds from his OnlyFans are being donated to the Cincinnati Children's Hospital and the World Food Program. As of December 16th, 2 of 3 proposed drops have been made, but who knows if there's going to be more at this point. Honestly, I have no clue. On the 1-year death anniversary, Mark and Ethan both uploaded a video to their main channels, simply titled Memento Mori, celebrating the year that had passed since the end of the project.
I think it was just about the coolest thing I've ever done. And just hearing how people say how meaningful Unus Annus was to them when they saw it, and when they saw it get deleted, and how that like impacted them. I've had so many people talk to me about it and just say what a like inspiration it was.
We would see both boys appearing in the woods, finding themselves faced with the infamous dual-toned casket and wearing the opposite of their colors. Like visiting the grave of a loved one, they placed a black and white rose atop the casket.
And I don't think that I'll ever be able to do that again. And part of that is horrifying, knowing that Unus Annus might just be the best thing that I've ever made and the best thing that I've ever been a part of. I've realized that I'm okay with that. And I'm okay with it being the best thing that I've ever made. And I'm really proud that it's the best thing that I've ever made. And I won't ever forget it.
A moment in these videos that I felt warmth was at the end of Ethan's, simply stating the words, "See you next year," before walking off. It's like I can predict the future and didn't just put puzzle pieces together. Whoa. As I and many others expected, there was an anniversary video uploaded on November 13th, 2022 to Mark and Ethan's channel, the 2-year anniversary of Unus Annus, totally not the day that this video was all supposed to come out. We're not going to talk about it. This video, meant to be played side by side, mind you, if you weren't aware, are of conversations between Mark and Ethan just once again reminiscing on Unus Annus. If it wasn't obvious, these 2 videos need to run at the same time to have the conversation run correctly, because then otherwise the conversation doesn't run smoothly and they're just blurring out random lines responding to complete silence. So if you haven't done that, please do that. And there's a moment in these videos where Mark hides Otter Pops underneath Ethan's seat as a reference to the September 2020 video, Brick Soccer. Fans were quick to point out this moment, celebrating the fact that Ethan finally got his Otter Pops.
I'm tired. I don't want to play soccer anymore. I want an Otter Pop. Mark didn't bring any Otter Pops.
I got you a present.
Present for me?
Yeah. If you look under your chair, there's
Oh. Otter Pops.
You got Otter Pops?
Otter Pops.
Are they melted?
They're not melted.
Okay, good.
They're not melted. They're still very much alive.
Good.
And intact.
Good. It was probably Brick Soccer.
I think it was Brick Soccer.
Great idea.
Cut to 5 seconds ago, you being like, you want to find true meaning in something.
This isn't and probably won't be the last time we see references to Unus Annus and Mark and Ethan's channel, as it seems like they are trying to keep the memories alive. And this isn't the last time we've heard about Unus Annus from others either. We've seen Mark appear in a handful of podcasts, including Anthony Padilla's I Spent a Day with Markiplier in May of 2020, and the previously mentioned Impulsive podcast in August of 2022, both of which continue to ask Mark questions on the now dead project. And while not in many other shows himself, we did see Ethan reference the shenanigans of Unus Annus through his live show. Not to spoil too much, but if you've missed the live show, you missed the amazing opportunity to hear Ethan sing a song about drinking piss once. His words, not mine. It just keeps coming back around. Those videos are going to haunt these men. They're going to haunt them. During the previously mentioned Power Wash Pals from this past August, Mark and Ethan reminisced on Unus Annus, with the channel coming up on its death anniversary again, and the impact they wanted to make with the channel.
It was just a project to symbolize the temporary nature of life and also the internet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I think this last couple of years with Unus Annus and doing the show and stuff, like I think it really put a lot of stuff in perspective for me, and especially after doing the show, because I accomplished the thing. It's like, oh, if I put my mind to it, I can make a thing. I can do bigger stuff.
The spirit we saw from the boys still isn't lost to the wind. With a lot of fans referencing Ethan's semi-recent video, Markiplier covered me in its glue as a silly reminder of what we had previously lost. And this video wouldn't have ended with at least a couple Unus Annus references scattered around.
What do you have in your hand right now?
I brush.
Why is that should be a mic, right?
It should have been.
Yeah.
I should have thought of it.
It's been a while since Unus Annus.
In the following years since Unus Annus, we would see Mark and Ethan get nominated for Best Collaboration at the Streaming Awards 2021. And as mentioned towards the beginning of this video, Mark's series In Space with Markiplier has been nominated for an Emmy as of November 1st, 2022 for Outstanding Interactive Media. And one last time, in the previous year of our Lord, 2022, Mark won another streaming award, winning the Gamer Subject Award on December 4th, 2022. You know, both this award and the Unus Annus Collaboration Award were like 5-second segments out of an entire award show, and frankly, I feel like they deserve more of a spotlight than that. I'm sorry, Unus Annus was a crazy time, and Mark is one of the most well-known names on the platform, and you're only going to give them 5 seconds each. Explain. As we come to the end of a mammoth video, we still see Unus Annus being kept alive today, whether that be from fans of the community, continue to share their love for the project across social media, or other small references we see in Mark and Ethan's videos.
Unus Annus.
The channel was about living in the moment and learning to appreciate the past. While Unus Annus has officially been gone for 2 years now, the viewers, no matter how invested, will still have the memories of this massive collaboration that arguably helped change YouTube's landscape forever. It's unknown if we will ever see Unus Annus again in any capacity. It's unlikely, but while the videos have been wiped from the web, they're not lost to time.
Was it a deleted or was it like an archive?
It is.
Do you have them on a file?
We have the videos, yes.
I can just imagine you sitting late at night with some popcorn just crying.
I mean, honestly,
the videos.
you're not wrong.
At the end of the day, if you're waiting for it to return, you've missed something. As quoted by Mark in an interview with Newsweek, I would say it's perfectly normal to miss it, but if you want to bring it back, you didn't learn the lesson. And I'll let you go with this great quote, usually attributed to Bansky. They say you die twice. One time when you stop breathing, and a second time, a bit later on, when somebody says your name for the last time.
And at the end, it was time to go.
Because without you, it wouldn't have mattered at all.
Uncertainty, I am being unveiled. Finally, the mystery of knowing who I am. To breathe, becoming whole again. I am being unveiled. Finally, the mystery of knowing who I am.
It's just saved, so we're good.
To breathe,
but also
becoming whole again. Sometimes I sit in a closet and cry. Not sure why I